See, when you're starting out in any pursuit, the most important thing to do is maximize your opportunity for growth. If you feel stuck right now, it is probably not because you're lazy. In fact, it is likely the opposite. See, I get it. Optimization feels productive. You feel like you're planning out your entire life. You're getting it done. You're getting your life in order, ready to go. But that is actually just procrastination in disguise. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly why maximizing your inputs is the only thing that matters at your current stage, and why optimization is actually just slowing you down. When I was growing up, I used to take these acting classes every week, and I was decent, but I really respected the teacher, and I wanted to do a good job for the teacher. I wanted to impress my acting coach. So in each of the classes, what I would do is I would optimize my acting, my scenes, my performances to do a good job. And what I ended up doing is I did a lot of safe acting. And what that looked like is looking at the script, looking at the beats that you're meant to hit, simply hitting those beats, safe performance. But I'll never forget what my teacher told me on one of my last classes. He told me, "I wish you hadn't always played so safe." See, I was doing consistently decent performances, but I never blew him away. It's because I was never trying anything. I wasn't getting out of my comfort zone. I wasn't trying different methods, tactics. I wasn't experimenting. And as soon as he said that to me, it clicked in my head that these were classes. This was the place where I was meant to experiment. I was meant to fail. I would have become a much better actor had I each week tried something different and failed and failed and failed and over again, because I would have learned. Instead, I played safe every week, week in and week out, and got a "good job, Jamie." See, I was optimizing for something that would just work, but I wasn't maximizing my opportunity for growth. See, when you're starting out in any pursuit, the most important thing to do is maximize your opportunity for growth. Like, imagine you're wanting to get into the gym, but you refuse to have your first session until you found the perfect program to do. You would never start, and then you would actually never learn the first thing about fitness. If you were trying to build your physique, yes, theory, knowing what to do is going to help, but you can't just do theory. You also have to get in there, experience and grow, put in the reps. So instead of trying to optimize individual processes, aim to design your life in a way that simply maximizes the amount of input you can produce in the given facet of your life that you are working towards. Every new pursuit you go through follows 6 stages. In the early stage of any pursuit, your goal is to maximize. Maximize inputs in that given facet. If you're starting out in the gym, maximize how many sessions you do in the gym. If you are developing a new morning routine, maximize how many times you follow a morning routine. If you are learning to edit, maximize how many videos you edit. If you are trying to lose weight, maximize how many systems you are putting in place to help you lose weight. And that doesn't mean plan them all out and structure your life and try to optimize your life in the perfect way like that. That means implementing the systems. Maximize how many systems you implement. You don't get the point for maximization unless they are implemented. Optimization only should come in the later stage. Optimization is simply for time efficiency. But if you are young, time is probably not a scarce resource. And I know it probably feels like it is because you're in a rush to get where you're trying to get. But I can guarantee you are going to have less time in 10 years' time. When you are young, time is your friend if you make it your friend. By using your time to maximize your inputs. How many repetitions can you get done? That is all you should be maximizing when you're in the early stage of a new pursuit. Most young men, particularly the smart ones, try to optimize way too early because you're likely a perfectionist, you're intelligent, you want to find the optimal route from point A to point B. What is the quickest way I can get there? I get it. But the truth is, the quickest way is just taking steps. Even if some steps are failures, especially if some steps are failures, because that's where you learn the most from. You have probably been given advice, theoretical advice on mistakes not to make that you will later make, because when you make the mistake yourself, that's when lessons really sink in. Allow yourself to fail. Put yourself in the position to experiment. That is where you will grow. Optimization without any input is just ego. It is just stroking, seeing how perfect of a plan you can make, but then never acting on it, because you will never come up with a perfect plan if you are a complete rookie beginner in a certain facet. It is delusional to expect to be able to perfect something when you haven't even tried it. See, volume is what creates clarity, and clarity creates efficiency later on. So the only way to get to efficiency is going through the volume that gives you the clarity of the lessons that you learn to know then what the optimal path is. You shouldn't be spending all your time on the system. You need to be focusing on output. Right now, your problem is not efficiency, it is volume. The funny thing is you'll actually learn more about how to be more efficient at that given task by doing the task more. You will not learn how to get efficient at the task just by trying to plan, trying to optimize before you've even done it or tried it or spent enough hours on it. How could you possibly know the most optimum or efficient way to edit a video if you've never edited a video? After you have put in hours of editing, that is when you know all the little tricks and little shortcuts you can do in your editing process on how to make it more efficient. Only through going through those repetitions and putting those hours in can you know that next time you're filming something, you can know to film it in a certain way that will make your life easier later. If you're feeling stuck, it is because you are trying to be perfect when you should be trying to be a beginner. You should embrace being a beginner. Being a beginner is a privilege because you get to screw up and it still be a win. See, how do you think Roger Federer would feel if he screwed up on the big stage by doing one small mistake and his career was on the line? You don't get to screw up when you're at mastery, but when you're a beginner, you're meant to. So if you are early in your journey, optimization is a distraction. Maximize first, optimize later. General rule of thumb, if you have not done something 100 times, you are not allowed to optimize it. Optimization is earned. Volume comes first. So 3 simple steps for you. 1, choose an output. Gym, studying, dieting, cold outreach, whatever. Not 5 systems, 1 output. Step 2, set the volume. I'll do 30 workouts. I'll cook 50 meals. I'll do 100 calls. That volume is what is going to create the feedback for you to grow. Step 3, ban systems to change your routine until you have hit that benchmark. No redesigning the routine, no new frameworks, no new apps, no tweaks. Just stick to the plan, stick to that 1 output and don't tweak it until you hit that benchmark. Now, I understand that most people optimize because it feels smart, but disciplined people maximize. Optimizers look busy, but maximizers build momentum. So if you're serious about what you're trying to do, pick 1 output and go start today.